Which is the preferred way to concatenate a string in Python? Since Python string can't be changed, I was wondering how to concatenate a string more efficiently. I can write like it. Or like this. While writing this question, I found a good article talking about the topic. This URL. But it's in Python 2.x, so the question would be, did something change in Python 3?
The best way of appending a string to a string variable is to use plus or plus equals. This is because it's readable and fast. They are also just as fast. Which one you choose is a matter of taste. The latter one is the most common. Here are timings with the Concatenate module. However, those who recommend having lists and appending to them and then joining those lists, do so because appending a string to a list is presumably very fast compared to extending a string. And this can be true, in some cases. Here, for example, is 1,000,000 appends of a one-character string, first to a string, then to a list. Okay, turns out that even when the resulting string is 1,000,000 characters long, appending was still faster. Now let's try with appending a 1,000-character long string 100,000 times. The end string, therefore, ends up being about 100 MB long. That was pretty slow. Appending to a list was much faster. That timing doesn't include the final .join. So how long would that take? Oops. Turns out even in this case, append, join is slower. So where does this recommendation come from? Python 2. Well, append, join is marginally faster there if you are using extremely long strings, which you usually aren't. What would you have a string that's 100 MB in memory? But the real clincher is Python 2.3, where I won't even show you the timings, because it's so slow that it hasn't finished yet. These tests suddenly take minutes. Except for the append, join, which is just as fast as under later Pythons. Yep. String concatenation was very slow in Python back in the Stone Age. But on 2.4 it isn't anymore, or at least Python 2.4.7, so the recommendation to use append, join became outdated in 2008, when Python 2.3 stopped being updated, and you should have stopped using it. Smiley face. Update. Turns out when I did the testing more carefully that using plus and plus equals is faster for two strings on Python 2.3 as well. The recommendation to use a .join must be a misunderstanding. However, this is Python. Other implementations may have other concerns. And this is just yet another reason why premature optimization is the root of all evil. Don't use a technique that's supposed faster unless you first measure it. Therefore, the best version to do string concatenation is to use plus or plus equals. And if that turns out to be slow for you, which is pretty unlikely, then do something else. So why do I use a lot of append, join in my code? Because sometimes it's actually clearer. Especially when whatever you should concatenate together should be separated by spaces or commas or newlines.
If you are concatenating a lot of values, then neither. Appending a list is expensive. You can use Stringo for that, especially if you are building it up over a lot of operations. If you already have a complete list returned to you from some other operation, then just use the .join a list. From the Python FAQ, what is the most efficient way to concatenate many strings together? str and bytes objects are immutable. Therefore, concatenating many strings together is inefficient as each concatenation creates a new object. In the general case, the total runtime cost is quadratic in the total string length. To accumulate many str objects, the recommended idiom is to place them into a list and call strjoin at the end. Another reasonably efficient idiom is to use io.stringo. To accumulate many bytes objects, the recommended idiom is to extend a byte array object using in-place concatenation, the plus equals operator. Edit. I was silly and had the results pasted backwards, making it look like appending to a list was faster than Stringo. I have also added tests for byte array/str concat, as well as a second round of tests using a larger list with larger strings. Python 2.7.3 Ipython test example for large lists of strings.
In Python is greater than or equal to 3.6, the new f string is an efficient way to concatenate a string.
Using in-place string concatenation by plus is the worst method of concatenation in terms of stability and cross-implementation, as it does not support all values. PEP 8 standard discourages this and encourages the use of format, join, and append for long-term use. As quoted from the linked Programming Recommendations section. For example, do not rely on Python's efficient implementation of in-place string concatenation for statements in the form a plus equals b or a equals a plus b. This optimization is fragile even in Python. It only works for some types, and isn't present at all in implementations that don't use ref counting. In performance-sensitive parts of the library, the .join form should be used instead. This will ensure that concatenation occurs in linear time across various implementations.
You can do in different ways. I created this little summary through following articles. Python 3's f-strings, an improved string formatting syntax, guide, speed test also included. Formatted string literals. String concatenation and formatting. Splitting, concatenating, and joining strings in Python.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.